it's like they're, trying to mix it up a little bit and trying to be somewhere in the between. And so when they do play these aggressive type compositions, often we end up seeing them get these huge early game advantages and able to snowball games really hard.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dynasty do pick up Rhyme right here, just because they played it last week also. It's a common first pick hero just because he can play well into almost anything. We saw it last time from them where they tried to play a strategy where Dynasty and Recomeza go really aggressive in the jungle and even throws himself at the enemy, sometimes dies. But on the other hand, PT Lam would be pressuring the lane so heavily because of the aggression or the distraction that Rhyme has been able to create, and that got PT Lam so far ahead in CS in many different cases and even got them first turret. So Dynasty, with the Rhyme first pick, you can expect them to play so aggressive in the jungle.
Yeah, and I really like that Fnatic immediately grabbed this Arden against the Rhyme, just because you don't want to allow that pairing through. You also don't want to have to use one in your bans on an Arden as well. So they take that away, make sure it doesn't get taken away from them consequently. And so we heard Hundor. He said, I'm in complete agreement with him. I feel like Arden is the strongest captain on the current update just because of how durable it is and how much of an impact he can have in fights.
Indeed, and at this point, Dynasty going to be looking at the carry heroes for Fnatic. Do they want to take away Vox? Do they want to take away Kestrel? Or even the Alpha and the jungle if you want to take it away from Fnatic to not have them play it against the Rhyme. A couple of different options. The Lyra ban is a very interesting one because it doesn't really synergize very well with the Rhyme, but at the same time it gives him so much sustain that he's able to play off of, and the initiation tool with her portal to get him on top of the carries on the backline. If he wants to dive, it works well at the same time.
Scarf banned away here. This has got to be something to do with scrim results here, because we've barely seen Scarf on this up.
We've actually seen Scarf banned away, I think, more frequently than we've seen him picked this update. He is still effective. He still has a place in these games, especially against certain heroes like a Rhyme, who doesn't have the greatest of movement speed, and if you're dealing constant damage, you can whittle away at that fortified health and prevent that from making him quite as tanky as he normally is.
And to your point, Scarf is a jungler that Fnatic do pick from time to time to counter the Rhyme, so I agree with you there, Tasty. Scarf probably was a ban there just to take it away from being a counter into the Rhyme.
Right, Vox going to be locked in here for Fnatic is something Techno JJ has played just huge amounts of over the years, but it's also just a very comfortable pick and a very safe pick coming out from Fnatic. That's going to be answered with a Kestrel over Dynasty.
And a Kestrel, obviously just a strong pick. That's really all there is to it. It doesn't really matter about synergizing with other things at the moment. She's just incredibly strong. The Adagio as the final pick. This one's a little bit of a surprise just in the fact that we don't see it that often. It's not like it's a bad pick. It helps with the durability of both the Rhyme and the Kestrel. You can apply the Gift of Fire onto the Rhyme, give him that little bit of extra healing, and then use the Agent of Wrath onto the Kestrel to give her a bit of extra damage.
Yeah, I mean, we did see it from Dynasty, I want to say, one time before this season, and it works really well. I really like the Adagio captain pick because it brings so much early game aggression and so much early game pressure because he has a long range of auto attacks and his basic attacks actually hurt. So if they want to play aggressive, which is exactly what they're going to want to do, the Adagio is perfect for that. The only thing is, if they don't get ahead early game and mid game here, they're going to be fairly weak late game just because Adagio is not a frontliner. They would have to play behind the Rhyme and let the Rhyme tank and heal him from the backlines.
Absolutely. We are going to see the Petal as the final pick coming through here for Fnatic. So curious to see how these ones are going to play out. Once again, update 2.9. So we see these fringe picks coming on in. Obviously, Petal has been a fairly popular pick, but we've seen less of it in the jungle capacity. And Captain Adagio, I feel like Captain Adagio is a pick that we're starting to see like maybe twice per week. It's like it exists, but very few teams are happy to pick that one up.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's something that the team has to have been practicing and has to have been running individually in order to make it work. So obviously they have been having that practice. So you don't pick an Adagio as your captain if it's not a specific plan that you have in mind?
Right. I really like the Dynasty composition here just because the Rhyme against the Petal, even though Petal does counter Rhyme if she's fighting against him, Rhyme can ignore the Petal and go for the jungle camps. He has a lot better last hitting ability over the Petal, and at the same time, the Kestrel versus the Vox matchup, that's a matchup in my opinion in the favor of Kestrel just because she outranges Vox, and even though Vox has great pushing ability in the early game, we always talk about it, Kestrel is able to match it. So Dynasty, their composition in my opinion is very well rounded and plays to their strengths.
And then with this composition as well, Kestrel, one of the biggest things is if you can protect her. Adagio and Rhyme are both massive zone control.
Yeah.
And so they can zone their opponents off of this Kestrel and let her free hit from the back line.
We'll see if that Kestrel is going to be able to run rampant in this game. It's time to find out, though. Hashtag Vainglory on Twitter. Let us know whether you think this is going to be going the way of Fnatic or if Dynasty can take the series. It's time to get on into our last EU quarterfinal. Pass it back over once again to Humanist and Sean Ostino.
Well, thank you very much. Our wonderful host, Munchables, breaking it down with our analysts. And that's right, guys. Dynasty Gaming versus Fnatic. Sean Ostino. This is going to be a very fun one here. We got an Adagio, a Petal. We're good to go.
We got a lot of variety here. Of course, we got my boy Vox on the fold, played by Techno JJ there. And I'm excited for this match. I feel like Dynasty actually has a lot of win conditions that they could really meet. If we have Adagio sitting on the back line, he's going to be able to heal up that Rhyme a lot when he's diving in. We know that Rhyme really wants to get in there and throw down those Winter Spires, throw down some auto attacks, get his fortified health up. And looks like that Elder Treant's actually going over to Rickameza there on that Rhyme. Oh, sorry, it's going over to PT Lamb. Or
Rickameza.
yeah, Rickameza. There you go.
Yeah, or Mowgli. That's why one of them got it. No, I think definitely Rickameza got it there. PT Lamb maybe grabbed the healing from before there. Palmatoro trampolines forward, looking to get a little bit of damage. Mowgli with a nice self-heal slows him up. A great reaction from Mowgli.
Yeah, great reaction. Really good. He's throwing down a lot of his abilities already, and he's only got the Gift of Fire so far, but him able to heal so far, we've been talking about it all day. Sustain is very important in 2.9.1. When he's able to throw down those Gift of Fires, it's able to do a lot of burst healing. And it's gonna be great for that Rhyme. Also, if he's able to throw down that Agent of Wrath, it's going to be really good to be able to empower the attacks of his allies as well. It looks like they're rotating down here, taking another Elder Treant. They're just on point with their rotations, Dynasty Gaming is.
Yeah, just very cleanly making the rotation. Now, you'll notice that PT Lamb's going to lose to 1 or 2 lane minions because of that, but it does give them the guaranteed takedown there. In fact, I think he lost 3 there, so maybe a bit of a negative outcome there for Dynasty.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of a negative one. We do see Rickameza actually sitting in with 2 crystal bits there. He's got an energy battery as well that's going to allow him to sustain a little bit better with his energy, clear out that jungle pretty well there. We do see Techno JJ has actually picked up a Blazing Salvo and Barb Needle, working on his sustain game here in the lane. Probably going to be picking up that Poison Shiv a little bit later on once he hits that item power spike there. And Palmatoro got himself a heavy prism there. That's going to allow him to, of course, build towards, hopefully, that Shattered Glass. Hopefully it's not Frostburn, you know? Palmatoro's taking a lot of damage.
Taking a whole bunch of damage here. What's going to happen? Fighting over the Eltrine. That's going to go the way of Fnatic. In fact, I think it was Techno that grabbed. No, Palmatoro securing that one there. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, whoa. Dynasty, man, these heroes are not scared at all. Like, Rhyme and Adagio are both not even wearing shirts, and they're in the middle of battle here.
That's right. It's so true. They're in the middle of battle, and there's a lot of damage on the Metolette. He's having to back up there, vanguarding himself to stay healthy. Oh, man, it's a good thing that they did take away that Arden during the draft, because Arden paired up with a Rhyme is a really unstoppable combo right now. And imagine the amount of healing as well that would be, you know, coming out if they had well, they couldn't have 2 captains on their team, but imagine
yeah, why
if
not?
Adagio was still there.
Make it happen, Captain. Palmatoro and Netolette doing a good job. You see them applying a little bit of pressure, and the lane's shoved forward. It just makes it a very clean back for Techno there, and so where they're not even second guessing that.
Techno JJ does pick up that Poison Shiv. That sustain's going to be really good for him. Good item power spike. PT Lamb still working on his Sorrow Blade. Just going to have to get a little bit more gold and back to pick that up. And we do see Rikomeza working towards his Shatter Glass. It looks like he's just sticking out there in the tri-bush, hanging out, maybe looking for the mids to pop and maybe a gank on Palmatoro here.
Palma, one hit, takes out the basic attack, take the mid away. Palmatoro's feeling himself, trampolining forward. Has that attack range there, a little bit of empowered damage coming out, but nothing that Rikomeza and Mowgli can't deal with just yet. Fnatic does group up, and they're going to move forward. They have a flare. This is Net2let buying the fountain and making the shot call to go. Rikomeza taking a whole bunch of damage. This is Mowgli holding the fountain. He gets the self-heal, forcing them back. They're kiting back into the Crystal Sentry, and it looks like Fnatic really don't want that. No, they definitely do. They want the Crystal Sentry. They were not trying to take a team fight with Crystal Sentry just wailing on them. So a nice clean rotation by Fnatic.
Yeah, really good rotation. They did the smart call by just hanging out in the jungle and continuing to take the Crystal Sentry there. And it was a pretty good take at 5 minutes in. That's going to put him a little bit ahead here, but the gold is still pretty even. We see a Shatter Glass picked up by Palmatoro. That's going to allow for the extra damage and the tankiness of his minions. That's going to allow him to kite Rikomeza as well. Especially if Rikomeza is going to be rushing in after he gets his tier 2 boots on this Rhyme. And it looks like we had a little bit of engagement, but we're going to just go ahead and back off. Fountain in that last fight was actually held onto by Net2let, which was a pretty smart move. He saw the Fountain come out for Dynasty as they retreated, so he knew that they had the upper hand there, but they were just going to go ahead and back off, take that Crystal Sentry. 6 minutes in here.
Huge deal. Like literally a huge deal for healing to your team, but also the mind games that puts in your opponent's heads. Like, okay, well, I know they have Fountain. I don't even want to really risk getting caught out in a team fight, so you just have to completely let that go.
Early infusion, Humanist picked up here for Palmatoro, just sitting in his pocket though. Breaking point picked up by JJ. Pretty good and early here. He's got two tier 3 items on him, so that's going to allow him to really ramp up his weapon power damage in these team fights. We also see Shatter Glass picked up for Rikomeza. That's going to allow him to do some heavy damage with his Winter Spires. Valkyries, he's already at level 7 there. His Valkyries are going to hit pretty good now, and he's going to be able to get that fortified health up pretty high. He just needs to work on his boots next, and he's going to be able to be a bit more of a threat.
I like that PT Lamb picked up a weapon infusion a couple minutes ago, but hasn't used it yet. It's just in his back pocket, just in case. And he's even been holding on to it so long. He's been back to the shop where he started working towards his Tyrant's Monocle. We've seen what the weapon Kestrel can do, especially coming out of Hundor. Techno eating a Glimmer Shot there. As Fnatic pressed down onto the first turret here for Dynasty. Rikomeza taking his mid there, split apart from his team. I'm really curious to see if Fnatic are actually going to try and take a team fight or bait something out. Rikomeza moves across the map. He'll realize that the Fnatic mid has not spawned just yet, and I don't see why he doesn't want to collapse back into lane. No, he's going to go for the Crystal Sentry. A clean Crystal Sentry take down in the jungle. Now Fnatic know that they can take this fight. First, the Judgment's going to come out, connects onto the edge of Fnatic as the Crystal Sentry is taken in the meanwhile, of course, by Rikomeza in the jungle. Rikomeza will go ahead and take all the backs as well. This gives a free angle for Palmatoro to move into the jungle of Dynasty and take their backs.
Really nicely done with the counter jungling here coming out of Palmatoro. They knew that Rikomeza was in their jungle, and he's continuing to clean out the entire jungle after taking that Crystal Sentry. Smart move to at least minimize the loss of CS from his jungle, actually. It looks like
the gauntlet right on top of Mowgli's head. Net2let, who are you? The spontaneous combustion and first blood coming through for Fnatic.
Wow, a late first blood at 8 minutes in, and it looks like Fnatic's going to be able to capitalize
Valkyrie,
on this.
Right on top. Oh, pop the pedal, Healing Flask of Vanguard. They turn around. Palmatoro, too much damage. Palmatoro's lighting him up. Oh, the Rhyme tries to get on the 10. No, it's not enough. Mowgli didn't want to commit. Mowgli hanging back, trying to save the turret. It's not enough. Turret goes down. He loses an ally. Run for the one shot right there. Oh, he takes out Tetno. The clean one shot from PT Lamb. Player to watch.
Oh, wow. Really good one shot. As he was getting away, too, and he did so much work in that fight, but Techno JJ just couldn't avoid it that time. He went down. He avoided it earlier in the mustache push, but Man, that time he was just wide open for the shot. And it looks like Dynasty Gaming has a little bit of an advantage here as Techno GJ is just going to have to come back to the fight. Nettolet's going low.
And that name Techno JJ messing with you a little bit. I heard that. Hello, Techno GJ, Techno Day Day. You're gonna get it. Techno doing a good job here as he moves forward. Oh, the Wait Force is gonna come out. Look at this. The Kestrel's so much damage. They can't fight through this, can they? It's the Rhyme on the front side. Actually, no, it's the Adagio with the burst, and he's gonna get taken down before he can even come through. They run right in with the Rhyme, and he's down. PT Lamb on the run as well. Nettolet's gonna look for the Self Vanguard. What's he gonna do? Self Vanguard right there. Oh, yeah, cleans it up with the ace. And Fnatic playing like they're on another level. Fnatic have this game in control.
So good right now. We already know that Arden has gotten a buff this patch 2.9.1. He has his Vanguard buff. He's got his Blood for Blood buff. So why not just go ahead and dive in? And now it looks like Fnatic's going to be taking the second Crystal Sentry away from Dynasty, and that puts it at 1 life remaining. They're going to just go ahead and clear out the rest of this jungle, buy themselves some well-deserved items. Sorrow Blade coming up. Dragon's Eye as well for that Petal, and that's going to allow Petal to ramp up some damage. Now, it does not count as ability damage from the Munions this patch. They've actually changed that, so he's going to have to do. He's going to have to think about something a little bit differently with Dragon's Eye. But if he can just go ahead and sustain himself in fights, this Petal is still proving to be a threat at 3-0-1 right now.
It's an interesting decision Palmatoro goes for here. We'll see how it's going to play out for him. Fnatic definitely have this game under control. They're going to move back and go for a clean gold mine take here. It would look like. One of the things I wanted to just mention, like early on, that I thought was really good that I think I skipped over. Just I like the poison shiv immediately out of Techno here in this game. It just seems to work so well.
Yeah, it was a really good pickup. He hit that item power spike before a lot of the other heroes out here on the fold this game. He's also gotten that Sora Blade breaking point. He's doing a lot of damage. Echo was just picked up by Nettolet. That's a pretty good power spike for him. That's going to allow him to throw down those double gauntlets and just lock people up here on the fold.
Ooh, my goodness, Nettolet. Just the Arden Lord. The Arden Lord and Savior. This guy, you know, like, he was one of the first Ardens, besides, of course, Flash, that I was just like, wow. This guy, I mean, like, he's one of the players that lands the gauntlet right on top of the target. It's not like they have to walk into it. And when he gets the Echo up and running, it's usually a thing of beauty.
Right on top of their heads. And, you know, he doesn't even have to do the gobble gauntlet.
Gobble the gauntlet! Gobble the fun!
Double gauntlet. He could use it on Vanguard as well. If he does a double Vanguard, maybe on himself, maybe on both of his allies, it's going to give him some really good movement speed. Yeah, oh yeah, Humanist.
Nettolet's looking to light them up. Nettolet is just a shark looking for an angle to drop 2 gauntlets and end Dynasty's hope of having a good day. Saw Mowgli, and he had to finish some things he was doing to get here into this game, and man, it would feel bad, especially to be losing it. You know, coming in here and Fnatic just playing so incredibly well. Okay, if you were Dynasty right now, what are you telling your team? How do they approach this fight?
Oh, I would say not to get caught out by a gauntlet, Humanist, but they're getting poked pretty hard in that turret. Oh, the Valkyrie comes down.
No, that's not the Valkyrie that you wanted, Rikumeza. One shot. Oh, coming through. The Crucible that actually came out on the Fountain coming out the other side for Dynasty. One gauntlet coming out. Nettolet. He's got another one. He's going to throw it. That's the Kestrel down. Mowgli wise up for the Burst of Judgment. Rikumeza trying to stand his ground, but enough is enough. Fnatic takes the choke point turret. They take the ace, and that is just a taste of the power that Fnatic can bring to the table when they show up practiced and with a clean strategy.
Are they going to be able to take this? They're splitting the damage really well. The game's over. That is it, Humanist. Wow. Fnatic, what a great show coming out of them. The double gauntlets just doing so much work. That Vein Crystal is falling. I take back what I said about double Vanguards. Double Gauntlet's the way to go on Nettolet here. Those godly plays and just dropping them. We had PT Lamb actually avoid getting stunned by the first Gauntlet, but he backed up and he did not even anticipate the next